this is an interesting little piece that I created. It's a cross-genre piece. I've never done that before. So this is an experiment. How many people in this room, a couple people have already talked about this, so I know there's at least 3 of us, but voluntary poll, how many people in this room have dealt with anxiety and depression? Either like, okay, all right, active hand raising, cool, good. I wanted it to be consensual. I didn't want you to feel like you had to share, right? Great. Great as in thank you for sharing. I'm not qualifying depression and anxiety as great. Okay, so part of the reason I created this event is because I heavily battle with both of these things as well, particularly anxiety. And there's a lot of conversation around mental illness about how you care for yourself, how you care for it. What is wellness? Like when you say illness, what do you mean? Is it different for me than it is for you? Like, what is that? I mean, there's so many people there's whole, like, industries that are working on this question, right? And so I have a lot of big questions about self-care. I think I've asked some people, and they've said things like, oh, yeah, that's like when I get massages. And I'm like, oh, cool. For me, it's when I eat, which is really different, right? Those are 2 really different things. And so I think that those kind of definitions are interesting and important. And so this is where the piece comes from, in me defining when I care for myself, why I care for myself, and what it looks like. So it's a poetry prose thing. Okay. 1. I care for myself the way an 11-year-old babysitter cares for a 10-year-old charge. I care for myself the way a kindergarten class cares for a fish in a bowl. I care for myself the way I care for houseplants I forget to water. I care for myself when I am gripped by an unshakable fear of death. I have never cared for myself. I have always cared for myself, but badly. I have only cared for myself when I like myself. I just don't always like myself. I only like myself when I care for myself. I only care about what I like. I like myself most when you like me. When you like me, I want to care for myself. I want to care for myself to keep you liking me. I only care for myself because you want me to. I care for myself so I don't let you down. I care for myself by doing whatever the fuck I want, which is rarely what I actually want or need. I care for myself when I realize care is one of the only real shielding tools I have in this world. I care for myself when I ask everyone else how they do it. And out of their answers, I pick the methods I like that are easy. 2. So, I take it at its most literal. The literal care of self, the handling of one's own body. One time, I forgot to shower for 2 weeks. I know. No one noticed, especially not me. And when I realized it, I didn't know if I should be impressed or ashamed or concerned because I actually forgot. When I ask, or sometimes when I don't, people tell me what they like to do to care for themselves as a way to encourage me. They cook. They listen to jazz. They take long walks. They pray. They do yoga. Nothing against doing yoga, but if I had $1 for every time someone suggested I do yoga, I would combine it with all the money I made from all the times people suggested I meditate, and I would buy a house and move somewhere quieter and sit in a yard and eat breakfast and shower. That would be an accomplishment. Maybe some people define self-care as exceptional, as luxury. Maybe others, like me, define it as essential or not separate from actual breath because living is so damn hard. When I open my mouth to breathe, I can feel every cell of effort. Taking care and taking effort, taking time to remember. I remember to do lots of things really well, but I also don't remember to, for example, buy or eat my groceries or floss. Do you remember to floss? Do you remember to sleep? Do you get off the internet? Do you save money? Do you have a 5-year plan? Do you eat things that are green? One night, I ate 18 Werther's Originals. Sometimes, I have lots of popcorn for dinner. One time, I ate a green pepper just like an apple, and I was proud of myself for eating a vegetable. And the woman I was dating at the time, when I told her that, looked really displeased. Other times, I pack balanced meals. I floss. There was a week in July when I went to bed at 10 for 5 nights in a row. It's not impossible for me. It's just really, really hard. This is less of a confession than making a public personal definition. When I care for myself, I make myself oatmeal in the morning, try and eat some fruit with it, and wake up early enough to have more than 10 minutes before I have to leave for the train. When I care for myself, I do laundry more than once every 6 months. When I care for myself, I don't always answer my phone. Sometimes I go off Facebook because it's all too much and too loud and too full. When I care for myself, I make myself stop daydreaming about people who have told me both that they love me and to go away. When I care for myself, I turn on happy 90s music instead of listening to songs about how terrible life is because I get enough of that when I leave the house. When I care for myself, I listen to white noise to drown out the city sounds. Sometimes, if I can, I let myself stay home. I make myself go for walks. I talk to God, even though that feels like talking to myself, because it might be. I go to bed at 11. I remember to shower. I eat 3 meals. I pack some of them. I ask for help when my anxiety is a disaster. And when my body does strange and painful things, I try not to panic. When I wake up in the morning, my heart is always pounding. I can feel it in my arms, up my neck. When I lie down to sleep, it's still pounding down into my knees. I live within a body that believes it's constantly under threat, so I crave softness. When I care for myself, I find softness. When I take care of myself, I spend most of my time finding actions that equate with, shh, baby, shh. Finding actions that remind me that I'm not actually broken at all. And when I feel whole, I want to take care of the whole. Shh. Shh. Thank you.